All right, so why don't we start and get our review in? Test is today for all three of our new body units, so it's important that we go through and we make sure that everybody's gotten everything. Now, we've gone over this before, so I'm going to go real fast on it. Feel free to rewind, pause, etc., as you need it. All of the notes are available on Schoology. Everything should be there, including the labs and everything. First thing, our immune system. We went over this. Remember, the immune system exists in the blood of us, and it's going to function two different ways, either specific or non-specific. Non-specific will be for everything. Just about anything that happens to you, your non-specific response will trigger. Specific response is only for our virus and our bacteria. And non-specific just means that something breaks the surface of the skin, so now we get the inflammation. That is the swelling, it is warmth because we're adding more water to the area, we're opening up and dilating the blood vessels, we're letting the white blood cell macrophages move into that site just in case something went wrong. Asthma and allergies are both examples of our non-specific response triggering to something that they normally shouldn't or wouldn't. The specific response is pretty straightforward. So, whenever something bothers you, inflammation will occur. Then the specific response will trigger as well. Assuming that a macrophage can come in and eat that invader, then it's going to take a piece of that invader to a T cell. The T cell is going to work to identify it by sharing that piece with a B cell. And then the B cell, if it recognizes it, will start making all the different antibodies that you need. This is the step by step for it. Here is what each one of those does separately. And the recognition is the same as always. It always comes down to receptors. And if you've got the wrong protein on the outside, it's not going to fit the right receptors on the white blood cell, and it's going to identify that you shouldn't be there and try to murder you. Nom 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 nom. Now, sometimes things get real ugly, and that's when our T cells get turned into what we call killer T cells. This is for viral infections. And then what the T cell does is if it identifies a cell with those wrong protein bits on it, it just annihilates it, ends it. And the most important part for the immune system, vaccines. You've got to know how a vaccine works. So remember, vaccines are whenever we introduce some dead or damaged version of the pathogen, of the virus, of the bacteria into your body. And because it's damaged, it can't create an infection. But your immune system will still identify the bits and pieces, the cooked up and broken parts of it, and it will still go through the entire process of trying to figure out the right way to kill it and give you time to build your immunity without ever actually being in danger. Just examples between the Salk vaccine in order to cure polio, how we created the first vaccine against smallpox. This one I thought was actually interesting to include because whenever you start to talk about anti vaxxers and the argument against them, you're going to see data like this. The deaths in the US in the past 10 years from 2004 to 2015 due to measles, zero. Zero people have died in 10 years due to measles. But how many people have died due to the measles vaccine? 108. It's estimated that right now, one out of roughly every 200,000 ish will actually contract the disease because we damage it, we don't always fully kill it. And so sometimes it can come back. If you see data like this, it can lead you to think that the measles vaccine is more dangerous than the measles itself, but that's not true. The reason that no one's died from measles in the last 10 years is because they're vaccinated. Now, if these numbers were between people unvaccinated dying from measles and people dying due to the measles vaccine, you would see a very large difference. This is the measles disease now way over here in the 2000s. It's come back. Here's whooping cough once again, right around 2000. Once this guy started talking about how vaccines might hurt people, all of a sudden people stopped vaccinating. And remember, his medical license has now been revoked. His study has been deemed invalid. In total, he was looking at 11 people. Not even a large enough sample size for us to consider it a real scientific study. All right, immune system is done. Moving on to the circulatory system. So, the circulatory system is all about moving stuff around your body, and it's going to do that with the heart in order to push. Remember this flow of blood from the right atrium to the right ventricle, out to the lungs, back to the left atrium to the left ventricle, and then out to the body. And from the body, it will be brought back full circle to the right atrium and start the whole thing over again. We have the deoxygenated side here. This is the old blood coming in. Pumps down and then out to the lungs, dropping off CO2, picking up fresh oxygen, back into the left atrium, down to the left ventricle, and then up through that big hooked aorta and out to the rest of the body. Eventually, coming right back into that right atrium again. Oh, I should go quickly past that. That's what got me banned. Simplified circulatory system diagram. Red blood cells, as they move through, the oxygen and nutrients diffuse out, the carbon dioxide and waste diffuses in. Keep in mind our three types of blood vessels. Veins go to the heart, bring that old deoxygenated blood. Arteries move away from the heart, taking blood that now is full of oxygen. It's ready to deliver. And capillaries are responsible for taking blood to the body. This is a capillary bed. It's responsible for getting blood wherever it needs to go. Our red blood cells, the workhorses of this system, will carry the gases for exchange. So they pick up carbon dioxide from the body, and then they swap it out for oxygen inside the alveoli. Right here, the respiratory system. O2 diffuses in, high concentration to low concentration. CO2 diffuses out, high concentration in the capillary of old blood into the alveoli air sac. The blood itself is made of four different parts, mostly liquid, the plasma, and then red blood cells, and then just a little bit in the middle, that's our platelets and white. Immune system, we just covered, and we're done. Digestive system, last one. So this is all about how we have to get the nutrients from the food that we eat and also get rid of the waste. So here are each of our organs, the quick of what they do, and the actual part that you need to know. So the mouth is all about that mechanical digestion. Chop, cut, rip, tear, rend. The esophagus pushes it down to the stomach through something called peristalsis. You might also see this called peristaltic action. Look for that beginning, peri. If it's got that, there's only one thing we talk about all year with peri. The stomach is all about chemical digestion, using enzymes to break things down. The liver and the gallbladder produce bile that breaks down fats, taking these large fat lipid molecules and digesting or breaking them into the monomers. The pancreas, we've talked about making insulin. Inside the small intestine, we need to absorb those nutrients that we've digested. Inside the large intestine, we need to absorb the water that we've used. And then the rectum holds it till you got to be rid of it. Boom. Done. There we go. So, that is our review. Anything else that you guys need is in Schoology. The test will be going live in just a couple minutes. And when that happens, I'm going to leave it open. It is designed for use with your Chromebooks. It will automatically take your Norwich email address for your account. There's also a random question in the test that's your name. Please make sure to get the test done. There is a 1 hour timer on it. So if you leave it open for longer than 1 hour, it will merely shut down. It will send in whatever answers you do have, and the rest will be they'll just be zeros. So don't take too long. I know how this is going to work. I know what people are going to do. If for any reason this does not work for somebody, please let me know. Otherwise, when I see you on Monday, it will be our spring break session. We'll be talking about evolution. We'll be introing into all of that awesome, super cool material. And hopefully, I'll be able to give you guys something to think about. Not a whole lot of work for the week. There'll be a little bit, but mostly something to think about. So, I'll see everybody then. Good luck.